36 years ago today, 15th of October 2023, Thomas Sankara, a revolutionary African leader, was assassinated by French imperialists. Sankara drove out French imperialism from Burkina Faso and withdrew from IMF, and made the country non-reliant on foreign aid. He was assassinated in a coup led by his close ally, Blaise Compaoré, supported by French imperialists. As far as African leadership goes, Thomas Sankara was cut from a different piece of cloth. He was exceptional and was never like your everyday politician. Here are some of his accomplishments in 4 years of being in power, 1983 to 1987. He vaccinated 2.5 million children against meningitis, yellow fever and measles in a matter of weeks. He initiated a nationwide literacy campaign, increasing the literacy rate from 13% in 1983 to 73% in 1987. He planted over 10 million trees to prevent desertification. He built roads and a railway to tie the nation together, without foreign aid. He appointed females to high governmental positions, encouraged them to work, recruited them into the military, and granted pregnancy leave during education. He outlawed female genital mutilation, forced marriages, and polygamy in support of women's rights. He sold off the government fleet of Mercedes cars, and made the Renault 5, which was the cheapest car sold in Burkina Faso at that time, the official service car of the ministers. He reduced the salaries of all public servants, including his own, and forbade the use of government chauffeurs and first-class airline tickets. He redistributed land from the feudal landlords and gave it directly to the peasants. Wheat production rose in 3 years from 1,700 kg per hectare to 3,800 kilograms per hectare, making the country food self-sufficient. He opposed foreign aid, saying that, "He who feeds you, controls you." He spoke in forums like the Organization of African Unity, against continued neo-colonialist penetration of Africa through Western trade and finance. He called for a united front of African nations, to repudiate their foreign debt. He argued that the poor and exploited did not have an obligation to repay money to the rich and exploiting. In Ouagadougou, Sankara converted the army's provisioning store into a state-owned supermarket open to everyone, the first supermarket in the country. He forced civil servants to pay 1 month's salary to public projects. He refused to use the air conditioning in his office, on the grounds that such luxury was not available to anyone but a handful of Burkinabes. As president, he lowered his salary to $450 a month, and limited his possessions to a car, 4 bikes, 3 guitars, a fridge and a broken freezer. A motorcyclist himself, he formed an all-women motorcycle personal guard. He required public servants to wear a traditional tunic, woven from Burkinab cotton and sewn by Burkinab craftsmen. The reason being to rely upon local industry and identity rather than foreign industry and identity. When asked why he didn't want his portrait hung in public places, as was the norm for other African leaders, Sankara replied, "There are 7 million Thomas Sankaras." An accomplished guitarist, he wrote the new national anthem himself. Today, the great and brave military leader of Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traoré, is obviously following in his footstep. Viva Mother Africa. God bless Mother Africa. Africa will win this and will win it big. Stay tuned and remain blessed.